ACC football on JP Sports is brought to you by Infinity, who invites you to test drive their full line of performance and luxury automobiles. By Days Inn. Days offers great rooms, great value at over 1,000 great locations. By Right Guard Sports Stick from Gillette. Anything less would be uncivilized. And by your local Carolina Chevrolet Geo dealers. In the Carolinas, the place to be is in a Chevrolet or Geo.
Coach Sparky Woods, your defense plays a strong first quarter but gives up those 2 drives in the second quarter. How do you blunt that Clemson offense in the second half?
Well, we're just going to have to bow our backs. We missed too many tackles, and we gave up the line of scrimmage somewhat. Clemson's got to find the line of scrimmage. They're strong, and they come off the ball, and they run hard. We just missed too many tackles. I hope we can hang together the second half and tackle better and be a little tougher.
Coach Woods, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate that. Second half just about to get underway, so let's go upstairs to our play-by-play and analysis for the second half with Jack and John.
All right, Phil, thank you very much. We are at halftime. It is 14-6. A bit of a turnaround in the second quarter because Clemson came to life. And I think if you look at the second half of the ball game, Jack, you have to look back on what's happened this year. Clemson has owned the second half of every game they've played.
Without question, they have dominated the second half, so it'll be a tough 30 minutes for South Carolina. Let's take a look at what happened statistically in the first half as we look at our Schlitz Malt Liquor halftime stats. And you can see that a lot of the numbers aren't all that different. Clemson with just a 30-yard advantage. But the number that sticks out, you see South Carolina 4 for 13 passing for just 62 yards. That's something they have to change in the second 30 minutes. Bobby Fuller has got to be effective throwing the ball, or it's going to be very difficult for South Carolina. The Gamecocks had the early opportunity. Ricky Ferguson blocks a punt coming right up the middle. Number 25 for South Carolina blocks the Gardaki punt. They actually had a chance to pick up the ball and score the touchdown. They fell on it. Clemson held them to a field goal, however, and it was 3-0 after one quarter. 2 field goals by Mackey in the first half, but dominated in that second quarter, John, as you said, by the ground attack of Clemson.
And they got it going enough to put it in the end zone a couple of times in a 4-minute span. The extra effort there for Harris, one of his 2 touchdowns. He scored them both, one from 1 yard out, the other with extra effort from the 7 for the score. And we are set to begin the second half. Clemson, as we told you earlier, deferred its option to the second half, so the Tigers will be receiving, leading 14-6 as we get set to begin the third quarter from Death Valley. Colin Mackey will be kicking off, and the one thing he's not been able to do is kick the ball very deep. He has not kicked it beyond the 20-yard line, and Mackey comes over to the sideline for a quick check with his coach.
Well, I think that's been intentional, John. He has tried to hit that sky kick, if you will. We saw North Carolina try the same thing. They will accept the ball between the 20 and 30-yard lines rather than allow the long kickoff return.
Thomas and Ryan's the deep end. That's Ryan's on the right, and there's that high kick. It comes to the 15-yard line. Thomas at the 20, flag down as he goes down at the 21-yard line. On the coverage was Rob DeBoer. He made the tackle, but the penalty is probably going to move it back inside that 20.
When Thomas started to move to his right and then shifted to his left, that's usually when you get the illegal block, either the hit from behind or the clip. The flag is at about the 23-yard line. Let's see what C.C. Daly has to say. I'm just going to show us what the penalty was. It was a clip, and that will put Clemson down inside their 15-yard line.
Pippen on the run back on the offensive team, orange team. Half the distance to go. First and goal. First down 10.
Watch the left side of your screen and see if we can pick up the clip. Maybe right there by Greg Burke. That's about the spot where the flag flew, so whatever. Clemson is backed up just beyond their 10-yard line as they start the second half.
The Tigers have had a kick block. South Carolina has fumbled the ball away one time. Those have been the big plays in the first half. Williams tries the left side and picks up about 3 on the play. Patrick Hinton made the tackle.
Well, you heard Sparky Woods tell Phil Van Horn that they did not tackle well in the second quarter, and that was very obvious. They are going to have to regained some control of the line of scrimmage. They dominated that line of scrimmage. The first 3 possessions for Clemson were 3-and-out situations. Since that time, however, the Tigers have moved the ball fairly well with their ground game.
2 tight ends, Fields and Samnick. Ryans is the lone receiver. He's split left. Hall and Williams. It's Hall powering his way near the 19-yard line. Jerry Inman made the tackle.
Howard Hall, the ball carrier.
Pretty good confrontation on that play between Eric Harmon, the outstanding right guard for Clemson, and Patrick Hinton, South Carolina's fine middle linebacker.
Kurt Wilson is down on the play for South Carolina. We mentioned the fact that he's been wearing that heavily padded, almost a cast on his right hand because of the thumb injury.
Well, it actually is a cast, John. It's a flexible cast to allow some movement, and also they won't let you go out there with the plaster on. They feel it would make it a weapon. Sparky Woods does not want to lose his captain, who has played so well on that defensive front, but he's in some pain. Looks like a problem with his right leg.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with the cast. He's being helped off the field. We're in Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina. Kurt, the senior, leaving the field.
He had some problems with his ankle last year. In fact, missed a lot of last year because of that ankle, but now he's moving off a little better.
He was the starting nose guard when they were in the 3-4 defense in '88. But they went to the 4-3 this year because Sparky felt that was the strength of his team, was the down lineman. So he's gone to a 4-3 on defense.
3rd and short.
3rd and about a yard. Harris joins the backfield, follows the blocking of Hall, and has the first down. He squeezed near the 22, and that should be enough.
One of the things that Clemson is doing a little bit differently, John, in the short yardage situations, beyond having Howard Hall in there as an extra blocker, they've also gone out one gap. Rather than running between the center and guard, or even guard and tackle, they're doing it actually off of the right side of the tackle. They've moved it out a whole gap, and the penetration has not been effective for South Carolina.
1st and 10, the ball at the 22. The motion man is Larry Ryans. Williams for a loss inside the 20. Hit first by Corey Miller, number 33, a senior from Pageland, South Carolina.
And the south end zone stands, which are colored in garnet and black. The colors of South Carolina are up with the big play there by Joe Reeves and Corey Miller. There aren't a lot of Gamecock fans, maybe about 10 to 15,000 among the 84,000 here, but that play was down near their end of the field, so they enjoyed it. 3rd largest crowd in Clemson history. The largest was the Carolina game 2 years ago.
2nd and long yardage. Misdirection by Deshaun Cameron, throwing on the run. It's incomplete, intended for Ryans out near the 31-yard line. The pressure came from Corey Miller again.
First time we have seen the bootleg, and South Carolina with good penetration from that guy, Corey Miller. I mean, he gave Deshaun Cameron a heck of a lick. Give Deshaun a little bit of credit. He says, hey, I'm all right. But inside, he's going, man, that hurt.
Terry Smith bringing the play into the huddle. He'll be split to the right side. Doug Thomas split left. Hall and Williams the running backs. Ronald Williams on a delay. 25-30. He's got the first down as he slams forward to the 35-yard line, and he just took Jerry Inman on head-to-head.
They also got a great block unintentionally from the umpire on this play. The penetration coming on, and as Williams cuts to the outside, he got underneath the linebackers, and boy, look at that contact between Inman and Williams.
Out to the 35 after a gain of 17 for Williams. He now has 46 yards. Here comes the freshman again. Another first down as he crosses the 45 near the 47 again. And Jerry Inman made the tackle.
Great vision, great feet. There was not a lot of running room here for Rodney Williams. He makes this 10-yard gain, 12-yard gain happen just with good footwork. That was very impressive. That's as good a run as you're going to find, John, even though on the stat sheet it just looks like a 10, 11-yard run. That took a lot of skill.
And he is second in the country in terms of yardage for freshman running backs. Ronald Williams off to a great start in his collegiate career at Clemson. 1st and 10, and the first man through for a couple of yards is Howard Hall. Patrick Hinton there to make the tackle.
The only guy with more yardage than Ronald Williams is Robert Smith, the freshman tailback at Ohio State, who was the high school back of the year last year. And look at that score. Maryland has taken the lead on number 8 Virginia in the 4th quarter, but the Cavaliers are driving with less than 5 minutes to go in the game.
Well, that one could come down to a decision then for 1 or 2. Here it's 2nd down and long yardage. Harris is now leading the blocking for Williams. He takes one hit and falls forward to the 47-yard line. Hinton and Brown team up defensively for the Gamecocks, taking a lot of time off the clock, which continues to roll. 11:10 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Well, when you see the speed and the maneuverability of this young man, you forget sometimes that there's a lot of power packed into that 195 pounds. And when he has to take on somebody and make a hit, he is able to do that. Got a chance to be one of the best here at a school that has produced some pretty fair running backs through the years.
From 96, South Carolina. 3rd down and 3. Williams down at the 50. Patrick Hinton once again with help from the left end Gerald Dixon. They snow him under and did not let that play get started.
Also give a lot of credit to Keith McDonald, the strong safety, number 35, who came up and took on the blockers. McDonald right there at the bottom of the pile, 35. He didn't get credit for the tackle, but he made the tackle happen for Patrick Hinton.
Brooks will be deep. Gardocki will be kicking. Eleven plays on their first possession for the Tigers, end over end and short. Hops toward the 15-yard line and goes out of bounds. 9:47 to play in the 3rd quarter. South Carolina will get the football for the first time in this half when we come back. Bobby Fuller completed only 4 passes in the first half. And Jack, I think if the Gamecocks are going to have a chance to win this football game, he has to get hot in the second half.
And one of the things that I talked about in the first half, John, I think he needs to throw some short passes early on. You can see 3 of his 4 completions were long passes, and that's fine, but I think you've got to complete a few short ones along the way.
Dingle hit at the line of scrimmage by Doug Brewster.
See, now right there on that play, and of course it's easy for me to do this way up here in the press box, but Clemson was geared for the run on 1st down. They had a zone defense backed off. You could run a little 5-yard stop route by one of your outside receivers and gain at least 5 and maybe more against a defense that was geared to stop the run. Now it's 2nd and 10, and here they come.
And congratulations to Doug Brewster as he goes over 300 tackles in his career. He's popped a few pads. Fuller backing away from pressure, still on his feet. Intercepted. It's picked off by John Johnson. Johnson has the ball at the 13-yard line. Chester McLaughlin was in there all over Fuller again. Go back to what you said earlier, Jack. He tried to do more than he should have in that situation.
Well, it gets back to the 1st down play call. And they're trying to throw the ball too far upfield. And here again, he's got to take the sack. You just take the sack. He's just throwing the ball out there. John Johnson gets the interception, his 1st of the year. Now Clemson's got the ball inside the 15. They score a touchdown here, and Clemson is really in control.
So the defense for the Gamecocks must dig in. The ball is at the 13-yard line. It is 1st and 10. They'll use Williams sweeping the right side. He'll pick up a yard, maybe 2. Excuse me, that's Rodney Blunt now in. Dixon made the tackle. Rodney Blunt is sweeping the right side. Let's go down below now. Here's Phil Van Horn.
Update the status of Kurt Wilson, that senior left end. He left tackle. That's a knee sprain on the left side. He is wincing and in pain, but will try to get back out there again. Let's see if he's in on goal line in this circumstance.
The fullback is Harris. He has scored both of the Clemson touchdowns. Rodney Blunt is the tailback. Thomas right, Smith left. Blunt inside the 10-yard line, and Blackwell again made the tackle. Give him about 3 on the play. It should be 3rd down and close to 5. Clock moving. We have 8 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter.
Bring Ryans into the ball game. Gives you a little more speed out on the field.
Ryans right, Smith left. In the eye, Harris and Blunt, the running backs. Behind Deshaun Cameron on 3rd and 5. Blunt fights his way near the 7, and that is all.
And the fans aren't too happy here on the Clemson side. Of course, in this stadium, what side isn't the Clemson side?
That's right. You're ringed by Clemson fans in this place.
They ran the delay to Rodney Blunt. He spun away from Joe Reeves, but everybody else was there. Cedric Bembry, the big guy, made the most important hit. They will have to settle for the Gardocki field goal try.
It will be a 24-yard field goal attempt by Chris Gardocki, who's 18 of 23. The left footer puts that one through, his 19th of the year. From 24 yards out, the interception sets up the field goal. 6:58 to play in the 3rd quarter. Clemson 17, South Carolina 6. More after a word from your local ACC stations. 6 is the score here in Clemson, South Carolina. The Tigers taking advantage of the interception by John Johnson. A 24-yard Chris Gardocki field goal. He kicks it off. Brooks coming forward to field it at the 15, the 20. Outside the 25, near the 28-yard line. He's run down by Tyrone Moonzone. From the 27-yard line. Back to work for Brooks and the Gamecock offense. Now down by 11 points at 17-6. Brooks comes to the left side. DeBoer is the lone setback from the 27. Fuller, quick pass, Brooks, 35. Stutter steps his way for a 1st down as he got very close to the 40 before Kirkland ran him out.
Well, I don't want to say that Sparky Woods was listening to what I suggested. I'm sure he was thinking about it, and his assistant coaches as well. But you see there on 1st down, the loose zone, throw the quick stop up pass. Not only do you get 5 yards, you get more than 10.
At the 40, a gain of 13. Now they shift Watson off that line where he often sets up as a tight end. He goes into the eye in front of DeBoer. Here's DeBoer. Up, we'll bring this one back. Jay Killen apparently was moving ahead of the snap, and that will stop the play. Killen, the left guard, a junior from York, South Carolina. Gamecocks, like every other visitor to Death Valley, unable to score a touchdown. The only touchdown that's been scored by the opposition was a kickoff return.
Dead ball, illegal procedure on the offense. 1st down.
Bring it back to the 35-yard line, and the University of South Carolina will start up again. 6 minutes and 44 seconds to play 3rd quarter. Along with Jack Corrigan, I'm John Sanders. Here's Bobby Fuller trying to get it cranked up.
Going to get it back. Rob Bodine's helmet touched the helmet of Hal Hamrick, and I think we're going to get offsides on Clemson. Although the Clemson players say they were drawn offside. The officials confer, and the Clemson players are going to be right, I guess.
Did they have a vote there?
Dead ball, encroachment defense.
That's what I thought.
1st down.
You were right.
I was right the first time. The Clemson players must have misunderstood that conversation.
Either that or they didn't have a vote. 17-6. Clemson does have the lead. 6 minutes and 43 seconds to be played in the third quarter. Brooks comes to the left. Miller goes right. Back to where we were originally. 1st and 10 from the 40. DeBoer is hit at the line of scrimmage by Chester McLaughlin, and a flag goes down.
We may get a face mask call against McLaughlin. But Chester has played very, very well today, however. But that's what he was called for. He's not a happy camper.
Mask on the defense. Repeat, first down.
Just a 5-yard penalty. It was inadvertent grabbing of the face mask.
It's still first down. It's 1st and about 4 with 6.5 minutes remaining to be played in the third quarter. Miller split out to the right. DeBoer gets across the 50, and it looks like he has enough for the first down. Brewster made the tackle, but DeBoer picks up the first down.
Well, with that squatty body of his and all those big people and even his lower running form, you don't see him out there. I mean, it's hard for us to pick him up. Imagine those Clemson linebackers trying to find that little guy.
From the 49, the Gamecocks trying to fight their way back. Miller running out of the tailback spot. No gain. Arlington Nunn came up to make the tackle. Let's go down to Phil again. Phil?
Most offensive linemen crave publicity, but only get it in the negative sense. For instance, senior center Jay Killen from C.C. Bailey because he's offside. Jay is the son of Jim Killen, a former Gamecock running back. The Killen family has played ball against Clemson 5 times. So far, 1-2 and lost 3. However, they are 0-2 here at Death Valley.
Brooks, running out of the tailback spot, is in motion, trying to shovel the ball forward. They will call it an incomplete pass. Kirkland was all over Fuller, who threw that one away. Actually, Jackie just scooped it forward to get rid of it.
Well, the fans don't like it, but there was a receiver in the area. Robert Brooks was there. They were trying to set up a screen pass to that side, but LaVon Kirkland, I take it back, it was Watson, Kenny Watson, who was there in the area. Well, LaVon Kirkland has just got great strength. North Carolina, what a ball game they've got there, as Carolina has a chance to win 6 for the first time in a number of years.
Carolina trying to get a bowl bid. South Carolina continues to be mentioned for a bowl bid, but they've got work to do here. Fuller steps up, throws it. The pass is caught by Watson. He's at the 46 of Clemson. He's well short of a first down. Fourth down coming up.
Now, they have allowed only 9 points in the second half this year. Heck, with all their performances in terms of the no touchdowns, they've allowed only 3 drives in the second half this season for 3 field goals.
Davis is deep. Parker's kick, a beauty. Oh, he's nailed 2 or 3 today. It will come out to the 20. 4 minutes and 21 seconds remaining third quarter. Clemson 17, Carolina 6. 17-6 is our score. 4:21 to play in the third quarter. Clemson with the ball at the 20. They have dominated possession time so far in this third period. They've had it twice, punted once, a field goal by Gardocki, the only scoring in the third quarter. It is 17-6.
They've not been overly productive in terms of all that time of possession, John, but the fact that their defense remains so dominant, you don't have to be as productive on offense. You just don't have to jackpot the defense.
2 tight ends. Williams and Harris are the running backs. Harris the fullback. Here's Williams trying to follow Harris. Dances through a hole and out to the 30-yard line. Ferguson made the tackle.
Again, a great confrontation as Williams comes up a little bit gimpy after the tackle. The confrontation between number 76, Eric Harmon, and number 46, Patrick Hinton. Right there. Well, a pretty good hold by Eric Harmon to allow Williams to get away.
He hooked him.
He sure did.
It is a 10-yard pickup on the play. Rodney Blunt comes in now. You mentioned Williams coming up a bit gimpy. We've seen Ronald earlier this year have a problem late in a ball game as he gets banged on. Option play, Blunt. Near the 35-yard line, Joe Reeves made the tackle, number 44.
Mentioned this in one of our earlier Clemson telecasts. Clemson takes great pride in the blocking ability of their wide receivers. Larry Ryans, who had to occupy the cornerback, actually it was the roverback Keith McDonald for a long time, did a good job of it to enable Blunt to gain the 5 or 6 yards he got on that first down play.
A 6-yard pickup. It is 2nd and 4. Ball is at the 36-yard line. The Tigers with it. Here's the option. A loss on the play as Hinton stayed right with Deshaun Cameron and drops him back at the 34.
Lost for 2 yards.
Virginia and Maryland, one of the other good games this afternoon. Here's 4th down, 35-28, Maryland leading. Sean Moore trying to find a receiver on 4th down. He is sacked. And the Maryland Terrapins with the biggest victory in Joe Krivak's career. Is it enough to save his job? I don't know. But Maryland beats Virginia 35-30.
This is 3rd down. Deshaun Cameron's pass is intercepted. It was deflected and picked off. It is grabbed by Harris. Leon Harris with his 2nd interception of the year. Through the hands of the receiver and into the waiting arms of Harris.
Watch how Deshaun Cameron throws this like a dart. Look where his elbow is under the pressure. How down low it is. That makes the ball sail over Terry Smith, who might have jumped a little early on the play as well. Leon Harris with the interception. South Carolina forcing Deshaun Cameron to make the big play. Instead, it's a turnover. Can the Gamecocks capitalize? We'll find out.
From the 46-yard line, it's 1st and 10. Fuller throwing on the run, incomplete. Intended for Brooks. He was near the 40-yard line. O'Neal on the coverage, but it was a ball that simply bounced out of his hands.
Well, Robert Brooks, who is their best receiver, had to reach for this ball a little bit, but it certainly was a catchable ball. The junior out of Greenwood, South Carolina, couldn't make the big play there for Sparky Woods. It was a good 1st down call, the play action rollout. But the 1st down efficiency has disappeared, and look at the numbers for Bobby Fuller, who is about a 60% passer.
Here is Brooks in motion. Again, Fuller with a little bit of a rollout. Steps up, and down he goes. He'll lose 2 to the 44. Kenzel Jackson was there.
He zoned in on one receiver that time. He wanted to go to Eddie Miller going deep, and Clemson had 2 deep coverage in the secondary. 17-6, Clemson leading with 2:16 and the clock moving here in the 3rd quarter. Clemson led at halftime 14-6. They've dominated this 3rd period, but just the 3 points on the Gardocki field goal.
3 wide receivers on 3rd down and long. Fuller sets, fires. It's caught out of the backfield. Rush down to the 40. He's got a 1st down for the Gamecocks. Eric Jeter made the tackle, but Rush, who comes in on those 3rd and longs, takes over for the tight end. Gives him an extra receiver in there, and he makes the play.
And Bobby Fuller hung tough here. He stayed in the pocket, threw a BB to George Rush, and he ran away from Tony Mooney and picked up the 1st down before being dragged down on the play.
A 16-yard gain for Rush. The ball at the 40-yard line. Brooks and Miller both split to the left side. Now Brooks in motion. Here's Dingle trying that right side, and he's drilled by Chuck O'Brien. Inside linebacker made the hit on him right at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Chuck O'Brien, who backs up Eddie McDaniel and will probably take over that inside linebacker spot. You hear the roar of the crowd here at Death Valley as they were just informed of the 35-30 victory. Maryland took a safety right at the end of the ball game. That made it that 5-point difference. And what happens to the Sugar Bowl now for Virginia?
Boy, it keeps changing. Every week something happens. Dingle. He'll get about 3. He was popped on the play by Levon Kirkland.
Another tough 3rd and long situation for South Carolina. 2 weeks ago against North Carolina, the Tar Heels would move down around the 30 to 40 yard line of Clemson, and that Tiger defense would stiffen. In the same way here for Bobby Fuller and the Gamecocks of South Carolina.
3rd down and 7 at the 37-yard line. Fuller, room. 1st down. Kirkland made the tackle, but as he gets inside the 30-yard line, it should be enough for a 1st.
Well, like I said earlier, Bobby Fuller, when he makes the decision to leave the pocket, cannot keep making changes. He's just got to go. And that's what he did that time. He knew where the 1st down stake was and picked up the 1st down.
Bobby Fuller down to the 28-yard line as time runs out in the 3rd quarter. Fuller will have 15 minutes to bring his team back. Clemson has a 17-6 lead after 3. The 4th quarter has belonged to Clemson. We are ready for that period of this ball game. 17-6, the Tigers lead the Gamecocks. But Bobby Fuller has led his team to the 28-yard line of the Tigers and has it 1st down. Dingle is the lone setback. No flag. The pass is caught by Brooks. He's spun down near the 22 by Ed McDaniel, a gain of 6.
Well, it looked like Dingle moved early. It looked like we almost had contact on the line of scrimmage, but a good no call and the quick little stop-up route again. As you see the numbers in the 3rd quarter, Clemson dominated the time, but only had the 3 points. And of course, the interception on the Cameron pass has given South Carolina its best opportunity in the 2nd half.
Brooks in motion. Dingle left side. Sheds 1 tackler and is going to be just a shade short of a 1st down. The first man there was David Davis.
Well, now you have 2 downs to make less than a yard to keep the drive alive. See if Sparky Woods will play action here on 3rd down, and then if not get it, come back on 4th down.
3 running backs, a power formation, and 2 tight ends. Dingle slicing for the 1st down as he gets to the 16-yard line.
Now keep in mind, much as they had in the 1st half after the block punt when they were stopped near the goal line and had to kick the field goal, South Carolina is moving towards the hill, where all the Clemson students and other Clemson Tiger fans are located. That is the noisiest part of the stadium, as you see North Carolina with its 1st winning season in 4 years. Congratulations to Mac Brown and his team.
DeBoer for the 15. Again, David Davis leading the defense for the Tigers. This is the part of the field where it gets awfully short if you're the offense.
And it gets awfully noisy. As we showed you earlier, Maryland beat number 8 Virginia this afternoon, while number 4 Georgia Tech, maybe he's going to move up into the top 3 before this season is over. They've got another game left with Georgia in 2 weeks. But Bobby Ross's team remains the only unbeaten Division I team in the country.
Brooks goes left, Miller comes right, Dingle is back in there. Now both wide receivers move to the far side of the field. Reverse Miller. 16, and Tony Mooney would not be denied.
Tony Mooney, playing for the injured Jerome Henderson, has stepped up big time. He has played easily his best game in a Clemson uniform. He has to make the play here. And he comes up with a great play. Eddie Miller danced one step too often, John. That kind of one-on-one down near the goal line. I think you take a lane and you go. You don't take 2 or 3 tries.
No gain on the play. 3rd and 9. The Clemson fans come to their feet. Fuller changes the play. Deflected and incomplete. None was there. It also appeared that John Johnson might have had a shot at the ball as it went through a couple of arms, intended for Miller and incomplete.
And Miller still nearly ended up with this football. Johnson was the one who touched it, then Nunn went after it, and Miller nearly caught it. They checked off on the play, and Eddie Miller either didn't hear the checkoff or it was a wrong pattern, whatever. They have to try for the field goal.
33-yard field goal attempt. It is up, and it is good. 3rd field goal of the game for the Gamecocks. So Clemson's lead is back to 8 again. 17-9, 11:48 left in the game. No touchdowns in Death Valley by the opposition. Don't come into that territory inside that red line, Jack. They just won't let you in.
Now Clemson has used that defense to win 8 games this year. The defense is going to have to do it if it's going to go to 9-2.
The kick bounces, and it's a free football. Inside the 15, and the Gamecocks have it. It bounced higher in the air than the Tigers thought it would. So once again, the defense will be tested. Picking the ball up is Drew Pender.
Wow, what a play. They've gone with that short kick all day and into the wind, which is picking up. The ball landed in front of the kickman, and as you said, John, bounced over their head. South Carolina nearly took that in on the bounce. Instead, they have it inside the 15. That great Clemson defense is going to be tested again. Drew Pender with the fumble recovery.
From the 12. Watson and Dingle behind Fuller. It's Dingle, 10, falls forward near the 6-yard line. Ashley Shepard made the tackle.
Let's project this just a little bit further. If Clemson loses its chance to give up touchdowns or no touchdowns allowed, if I can spit it out for you, it'll make it 17-15. And you're Sparky Woods. Do you go for 2?
Thankfully, I'm not Sparky Woods.
I hear you.
2nd down and 4.
He checked off again, John.
Dingle inside the 5. Chester McLaughlin made the tackle. You see that Kirkland is there toward the bottom of that pile as well. And a greeting between Dingle and McLaughlin. They've seen a lot of each other today.
3rd down and a very long 2. Chester McLaughlin, all 310 pounds at least of him, has been a force. Give you one more look at what set up the play. Watch the ball bounce at about the 28-yard line. And then when the kick team came down, and Drew Pender, had he been able to stay on his feet, could have scored a touchdown.
Power formation. Watson working in motion. Dingle, touchdown. South Carolina has done it. They've scored the touchdown.
They ran away from the motion with the sweep. We got ourselves a ball game with still 10.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Good block up front on the play by Leroy Jeter. And then Dingle, all 240 pounds of it, did the rest on his own. And South Carolina is going for 2.
Dingle gets the touchdown from 4 yards out. Watson moves up into a tight end on the right side. Brooks in motion. Going for the tie. Fuller looks to the end zone and throws it away. It is still a 2-point ball game.
And I think, John, judging by Sparky Wood's reaction, somebody didn't understand the play, whether it was checked off or the play in the huddle just never was communicated properly. South Carolina never had that play in sync. They did on the touchdown, however. They ran Kenny Watson in motion to the left, came back to the right. Leroy Jeter with a great block there on Levon Kirkland. He just blew Kirkland off the screen. Dexter Davis made the tackle, but after the ball had crossed the plane of the goal line. On the two-point conversion, Bobby Fuller was looking on a turnout route, and he threw that ball about 5 rows up into the stands. Sparky says that's all right, and he's right. I mean, they're only 2 points down.
Exactly right. It's a 17-15 ball game and all kinds of time remaining.
And when you got beat 45-0 the year before, 17-15 looks a whole lot better.
Boy, you're not kidding. It is a 2-point ball game with 10.5 to play. Dingle will set it up. Special teams have been key in this game today.
And I guarantee you that the Clemson coaches told the kick returners, catch the ball.
It was Thomas who did not catch it before. He does take this one at the 21.
Gonna get another clip.
Well, that's going to set it back to the area of, say, the 14-yard line or so. Not good field position. And as good as the defense has been, Jack, it's now time for the offense to come to the front for Clemson.
Now, the offense right now has to come up with 3 or 4 first downs, if nothing else, to change field position as well as the momentum. C.C. Daly indicating it is a clip against Clemson. The only thing in the Tigers' favor right now, John, is that South Carolina will operate into the wind so that you can't ask Colin Mackey to kick too long of a field goal if it gets down to that situation with South Carolina looking for a 1-point win, because he's just not going to have enough into that breeze, which has picked up as the day has gone on. It is blowing into the face of South Carolina. Deshaun Cameron, coming off an interception on his last attempt, has to rally the troops and grind away on that clock.
And that wind is picked up in the area of 15 to 20 miles an hour now. The ball is spotted at the 14. It's 1st and 10. Williams. He breaks it at the 25. A flag is down. He goes down at the 45-yard line, but way back at the 15-yard line, there is a yellow flag on the field, so I'm not sure how long Ronald will be able to celebrate.
Well, he's not going to be able to celebrate at all because, well, let's wait and see. Face mask against South Carolina, so continue the celebration for Mr. Williams.
A 31-yard pickup.
Normally where that flag is thrown, you have a holding call. Let's see if we can see the face mask infraction. Well, it didn't happen against Williams. It happened against somebody in the line.
On the defense, first down.
The freshman with a big-time run. Changes the momentum back and colors it orange.
Over 100 yards now for Williams. He has 104 yards. The ball is spotted at the 50-yard line. The 31-yard pickup, a 5-yard penalty, a plus of 36 to midfield. Steve Daraso and Stacy Fields are the tight ends. Smith is the lone wide receiver. Fighting forward for about 4 yards is Ronald Williams. Harris made the tackle.
From 96, South Carolina, 96 miles from the Clemson campus. He needs a breather, and the sideline says you stay in the ball game. That's right. Now he does come out as Rodney Blunt comes in the ball game. Sparky Woods hoping his defense can force a turnover, but the only way it's going to happen is a fumble, because Clemson's not going to throw the ball.
9.5 minutes to play. Cameron does throw the football. It is caught by Harris at the 30, the 20. He's inside the 20-yard line. Rudy Harris finally tackled by Patrick Hinton.
I take my hat off to Larry Vanderhayden and Rick Stockstill, who key that offense for Clemson. Deshaun Cameron, who has not had a good day throwing the ball. It was a safe pattern and a good call, and Rudy Harris rambled his way upfield, got a great block from Larry Ryans, and takes it inside the 20. Watch the look on Deshaun Cameron as he knew, yes, that's what we needed to get going. An injured Clemson player, one of the offensive linemen, I think that might be, no, that, or is that Harris? That is Rudy Harris, who was down inside the 20-yard line, shaken up on the play.
Let's talk about the block by Larry Ryans. It was a good block, but Jackie had to do a good job to get that head in front and keep it from being an illegal block.
Exactly right. Let's see if we can see what happened to Harris. So he got sandwiched right at the 20-yard line by Surratt and Harris. And the high school All-American from Brockton, Massachusetts, is still on his back trying to catch his breath.
Harris had that shoulder injury last year that caused him to miss the season.
From ground level, you'll get a look at the Harris sandwich. Oh, he took a heck of a pop. Leon Harris really whacked him.
Oh, Leon gets Rudy Harris. 9 minutes and 18 seconds left in the game. The Tigers trying to answer the challenge after having allowed the first touchdown by their defensive unit this season in Death Valley.
Harris is up and getting some assistance as he goes off the field. Howard Hall will come back into the ball game at fullback, replacing him.
Ronald Williams is back as well. Smith and Thomas will be the wide receivers. A 2-point ball game. Williams tries to dive toward that 15 and gets only a yard. Marty Dye made the tackle.
You are certainly well within Chris Gardaki's field goal range.
Especially with that wind behind him.
But Clemson needs the touchdown. They don't want to be in a situation of having South Carolina needing just one score to win. They want to make it a 2-score ball game.
2nd down and 9. Here's Williams. Great change of pace. He's close to a first down. Harris made the tackle, but he kind of put it in cruise for a moment, then turned it up and picked up big yardage.
I've talked a number of times this year about the ability of a great running back to have patience. We're going to motor down here a second, wait for the traffic to clear, and then the acceleration. Good block by Howard Hall to clear the path for Ronald Williams, as he has gone over 900 yards on the season.
Williams with 108 yards in the game. It is 1st and goal at the 7. 8:18 to play. Williams to the 5. Snowed under there. Gerald Dixon leading the defense.
This is a situation when they would like to have Rudy Harris back in the ball game, to have that tailback speed in the fullback body in the fullback position. Plus, you're also changing what you've been doing near the goal line, John, where they would have Howard Hall as the motion man, as the extra blocker. Now you don't have that. Blunt comes into the ball game.
It would appear that those offensive linemen, Jeb Flesh, Bruce Bratton on that left side, are fired up. They want to punch it into the end zone. To punch somebody anyway. 2nd and goal from the 5.
Blunt replaced Williams at tailback.
Here's Blunt with the ball. Not quite in, but very, very close. Dixon made the hit as he got to the 1-yard line. Thought for a minute Jackie was going to score.
You say to yourself, well, I've got Eric Harmon, All-ACC last year at right guard. I've got All-American Stacy Long at right tackle. That's where I want to go. There was a huge hole that enabled Blunt to knock on the door. We have a Gamecock shaken up. It is Patrick Hinton who hobbles off, and that's something that South Carolina doesn't need. Their best tackler goes off.
And I think they're still short a player. Yes, they've got to get Tony Kennedy out there. They'll go with 3 running backs, Blunt, Hall, and Kennedy. From the 1-yard line, 3rd down. in motion. Touchdown, Kennedy. The Clemson Tiger offense, which has been maligned at times, marches 86 yards to the end zone.
That extra blocker, Howard Hall, leading the way. The big surge from the offensive line. Bratton and Flesh at left tackle and left guard. That was a no-doubter.
The extra point by Gardocki is perfect. It is a two-score situation. 24-15 as Clemson comes right back. Let's pause now for a word from your local ACC station. 24-15, and Jack, you've talked about first down plays throughout this entire ballgame. There can't be a bigger one today than the one that Ronald Williams burst up 31 yards on the first play of the last drive.
Well, without question. I mean, it was a 17-15 game. All the momentum was on the side of the Gamecocks. That 31-yarder got it in gear, and they ended up driving 86 yards. Tony Kennedy's touchdown run, the capper.
And, of course, the other big play was the pass play to Rudy Harris.
Well, when we said, or I said, they wouldn't throw it again.
Brooks will not run this one back. So the Gamecocks, down 24-15, will have to start at their own 20-yard line.
And they'll have to drive into that win. Again, let's see if the Gamecocks go with those little short passes on first down to try and get into second and medium, second and short calls whenever possible.
The clock will become a factor. Each team has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. The Gamecocks with the ball on their own 20-yard line. Dingle is the lone setback behind Bobby Fuller. Fuller hit. Loose ball. They're going to rule him down.
Guess who?
Chester McLaughlin made the hit. Shepard picked it up and took it in, but the football will be spotted about the 14.
I mean, Chester McLaughlin looked like a knife going through butter. Forget it, baby. He just said, get out of my way, and split the left side of that South Carolina offensive line. Bobby Fuller never had a chance.
And Fuller also lost that football before he ever hit the ground. Second and 16 after the sack. Fuller in trouble again, dumps it short. Dingle for a first down. Robert O'Neill the tackle, but he gets outside the 30 and picks up the first. Bobby Fuller shaken up a bit as he talks to Jay Killen.
He took a heck of a pop. Watch this. Almost lost the ball there, and then took a heck of a lick. I mean to tell you, he got popped. Watch this. He gets away from Wayne Simmons, throws the little throw, and oh my, Chuck O'Brien, helmet to helmet. Wow.
But Fuller hangs in there. The ball at the 32. First down and 10. Timeout. South Carolina.
Now the clock's still moving. Well, now they stopped it.
They might have to add a second or two, and Fuller goes to the bench. Clemson has the lead. 6:05 to play in the game. Clemson leading by 9. It's 24-15. The Gamecocks have it first and 10 at their own 32. Fuller looks long for Brooks. He's got it. Out of bounds he goes. At the 25-yard line, O'Neill forced him out, but Fuller found Brooks.
Well, they caught Clemson in a zone, and Robert Brooks running a great flag route between Tony Mooney and Robert O'Neill. And this is the best ball thrown all afternoon by Bobby Fuller into the wind. See how he caught Mooney underneath. Neal gets over late, and Bobby Fuller knew he threw a perfect ball that time. Here come the Gamecocks.
43-yard pickup to the 25 of the Tigers. A little less than 6 minutes to play in the game. steps up, throwing for Dingle, incomplete.
And Fuller is still down. He took a heck of a whack from Wayne Simmons.
Simmons with the pressure, and Brewster, a linebacker, stayed on Dingle out of the backfield. And Fuller will get to his feet.
Tell you what, you are a target when you go up against this Clemson defense if you're an opposing quarterback. Look at Wayne Simmons, 49, boom. Right as he released the ball. Fuller will have to come off so that South Carolina doesn't waste a timeout. And that will bring Wright Mitchell, a redshirt sophomore out of Atlanta, Georgia, into the ball game.
And we'll see if Bobby Fuller can return on this series. He took a pretty good shot in the left side. Wright Mitchell.
Interesting time to come into a ball game, don't you think?
Yes, sir. Wright Mitchell's had a back problem that's hampered him. 2nd and 10 at the 25. Mitchell dumps it off, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Dingle. He took a swipe at punting it up into the seats. Ed McDaniel with him.
Bobby Fuller's going to come back into the ball game. He's talking to Sparky Woods on the sideline. And here comes Bobby Fuller back into the ball game. For Wright Mitchell, he did 2 things. He got the snap from center, and he didn't throw an interception. But now it's 3rd and 10.
Fuller for Brooks, incomplete. Arlington Nunn in the end zone, broke it up.
Arlington Nunn with perfect timing. Saves the touchdown. The wind might have hung this ball up a little bit on the post route, and Nunn was able to come back and time it perfectly. And now Colin Mackey will have to try a 42-yarder into the wind.
And this will not be easy. Here is the hit just as the ball arrived. So did Nunn. Looking for his 4th field goal of the afternoon. Mackey's kick is up. It is wide.
And short. They knew they needed 2 scores, so they went for the field goal there. And Mackey, even with the wind, John, I don't think hit it well enough to get it there. But Arlington Nunn comes up with the big play. Mackey, who has hit a 47-yarder this year, sees this ball drift to the right, the wind pushing it that way, and I think it was a little short as well.
But you're right, that wind, which had been blowing straight at him, it shifted a little bit and blowing slightly at an angle, Jack, and it just kept carrying the ball away from the center of the goalpost.
They're hitting the end.
25-yard line. Blunt is the tailback. Kennedy the fullback, and it's the fullback Kennedy for a couple.
But Clemson needs to make a 1st down or 2 here. They can't just be content with running a couple of plays and punting the ball away.
Too much time left on the clock. 5:20 remaining in the game. Kent Hatfield will send in Larry Ryans with a play. This offensive formation features 2 tight ends. Steve Daraso and Stacy Fields have been out there. There you see Steve, number 81, a redshirt freshman, seeing a lot of playing time this afternoon. 5 minutes to play. Blunt cuts it back near the 30-yard line. Marty Dye to make the stop.
Set up a 3rd and long, about 6 or 7 for Clemson.
4:38 remaining in the game. Deshaun Cameron hit the one big pass play on that last 86-yard touchdown drive. That and the offensive run of Williams, the 2 key plays for the Clemson offense this afternoon. Defensively, Arlington Nunn's hit in the end zone, the big play. 3rd and 5. Cameron is hammered back at the 21 by Bembury.
And South Carolina wants a timeout. They want to stop the clock now with 4:04. It's their second time out. But they knew they were in a situation, John, they needed to stop the clock because Clemson would take its time, use as much of the clock as possible. Great penetration that time by Bembry and Duke. They tried to run a little play-action fake, but South Carolina with great pressure, they sacked Cameron. And here's where Chris Gardocki is such a weapon. With his great kicking ability and the wind at his back, I mean, he's capable of kicking a 60 or 70-yarder here.
And it's what they need. He has not punted the ball all that effectively this afternoon. His first kick was a good one, but he's had a little bit of a problem also with his first career block in the back of his mind.
That's right. Blocked for the first time. Rick Ferguson made the block for South Carolina. That set up the first score of the ball game, and you know in that huddle there on the far sideline that they're talking about it again. Yes, let's try and get the block, but let's not commit the roughing the kicker penalty that would keep the drive going for Clemson. That was a big series, though, defensively for the South Carolina Gamecocks. And Eddie Miller has to handle the kick. He can't let it bounce around.
Miller standing at his own 40. Gardocki had been shading his eyes. He's looking directly into that sun. Beautiful, beautiful kick. Over the head of Miller.
Look at the bounce it takes.
Unbelievable. It rolls, trickles into the end zone.
78 or 79 yards.
79 yards. That will be the longest, I believe, of his entire career. He just drilled it with that wind.
He also tried to pick up a penalty with the contact, and he did draw the 5-yard penalty. Now, of course, Clemson is going to refuse that penalty. Jerry Inman was the man who made contact.
5-yard penalty declined.
Sure, they're going to decline it.
First down for the...
Well, Chris Gardocki, they say 78 yards officially with the line of scrimmage at the 22-yard line. He nails it into the end zone. But did you see how that ball, after it bounced, went sideways?
And I was almost certain it was going to stop at about the 1.
It almost did. Watch this ball bouncing around. Now it starts moving sideways and nearly stayed out of the end zone. What a kick.
From the 20. A 9-point Clemson lead. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the game. Long way for the Gamecocks to go. Is it a catch? No. Pitchko, the intended receiver, but David could not hang on right in front of that Clemson bench. Summarize this game for you. We're in the fourth quarter. It's 24-15. It was the kickoff recovery that really fired South Carolina up, brought them to within 2. They went for 2 to tie the game, did not. And Clemson, behind the rushing of Ronald Williams and a defense that has sacked the quarterback 6 times, is hanging on to a 9-point lead. Brooks could not hang on near the 25-yard line.
He had Chuck O'Brien on the coverage, and I tell you, if he hangs onto that ball, John, he's got a lot of room to run. But Brooks does not make the catch. Let's go down the field to Phil Van Horn.
King Dixon, the South Carolina athletic director, has a tote board in his office specifically for games between these two schools. So far in 3 meetings volleyball, 2 in soccer, the board reads South Carolina 4, Clemson 1. The result of today's contest beginning to reveal itself with 3 minutes remaining.
All right, Phil, thank you very much. The ball is still at the 20, and it is 3rd down, 10. Dingle hit at the 23, and O'Brien was right with him on the play.
Now, when you need 80 yards, or more importantly, 10 yards for a first down, you don't throw a 3-yard pass, but there was good coverage downfield, so he took the short route, but there was no place for Dingle to go with Chuck O'Brien just sitting there. So now you have the 4th down, and in this kind of ball game, John, you have to go for it here. You had no way of stopping the clock and up on defense, so here it is.
The Clemson fans come to their feet. 3:04 to play in the game. Fuller could run for it. Instead, he throws. It is incomplete. Near the 30-yard line. Intended out of the backfield for George Rush, but I thought Fuller had a chance, maybe Jackson, space to run for a first down.
Well, it might have been close. Did he catch the ball or not? Good call by the official. He's right there. He did not catch that ball. He trapped it going out of bounds. Levon Kirkland trying to provide the coverage. Bobby Fuller did not throw that ball well. Ball sailed on him a little bit as he didn't get his elbow up high. And that Clemson defense comes through again.
Ronald Williams is back on the field. Williams with 119 yards on 17 carries. And Deshaun Cameron now will come to the bench. 2 minutes and 56 seconds remain in this football game. If you were expecting a repeat of last year's 45-0 blasting, forget it. South Carolina did not play that way today. Jack, they had their chances, and again, I think you can go back to early in the ball game when they had the opportunities, and like so many others who've come to Death Valley, they couldn't get 6. They had to settle for 3.
Well, the other irony, and I'm sure South Carolina fans will talk about this long into the winter, they block a field goal, and they have a chance to pick up the ball and go into the end zone for a score, but Braylon Bennett fell on it at the 6-yard line, and they have to settle for a field goal after not punching it in against the Clemson defense. They get a great bounce on a kickoff, and Rue Pender has a chance to pick up the ball and score a touchdown. Instead, he falls on it. They again have to settle for a field goal, and that made the difference.
From the 22. Here's Cameron. Inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Cedric Surratt wrapped him up after a gain of 3.
Stop made by Cedric Surratt.
A reminder, after the ball game, we will be selecting the Schick MVPs for both teams. Ken Hatfield trying to finish up a 9-2 first regular season at the controls of the Tiger football program, and look ahead to the bowl game. Here's Williams. Pushed out of bounds as it got down to the 10-yard line by Leon Harris.
But he got the first down.
It'll be 1st and 10 from just outside the 10. So it is not 1st and goal. It is 1st and 10 at the 10 as Robbie Spector comes back in. Robbie, one of the 20 seniors playing their final home game for the Tigers here. And that group of seniors, Jack, going for victory number 39 and a chance in the bowl game to make it 40 in 4 years. Williams tied up behind the line of scrimmage and goes down at the 15.
Now will South Carolina use its last timeout? Not yet. And so Clemson will take as much time as possible here with less than 2 minutes to play.
The clock continues to run with 1 minute and 45 remaining. Ken Hatfield trying to come away with a victory in what is traditionally the most important game in the season here in South Carolina, when you get the Gamecocks and the Tigers together. Goodlock in motion, and there's motion all over the place. It appeared that Stacy Long was headed out along with Howard Hall a little too quickly.
Now you could take a number of guys there who missed the snap count.
Two things about Clemson. You don't want to play them here, Jack, and you don't want to play them on grass.
I don't know if you'd want to play them on any kind of surface, although they, surprisingly for a fast team, their losses have come on artificial surfaces, but you would think they'd be even better on the artificial track. But
Second at 20.
Clock has been restarted as we hit the 1-minute mark. Here comes Ryans. Still on his feet at the 15. He's pushed back by Ernest Dixon as he got to about the 13-yard line. Congratulations to both coaches on today's football game. It has been a good one. The bragging rights, and in some cases, Jack, the recruiting rights to the state on the line.
Well, South Carolina choosing not to use the timeout here.
30 seconds to go.
Well, Sparky, knowing you're just prolonging the inevitable since they need the 2 scores. This will be the final play.
Williams, for the last time at home for the Tigers offense. 10 seconds now. That is going to do it. The traditional battle for South Carolina goes to Clemson again. They've won 8 of the last 11 meetings between these two teams. Last year, 45-0 in Columbia, and this year, 24-15 in Clemson. That is the final in our final regular season telecast of Atlantic Coast Conference football for 1990. Another beautiful day, and hats off again to the Clemson defense for a tremendous job, even though the touchdown string came to an end. But I think also credit to the offense. When they needed to make the big drive, they went 86 yards to win the ball game.
Certainly the turning point in the ball game, Clemson's ability to make the long drive, keyed by the Williams run and the pass to Rudy Harris. Clemson finishing at 9-2 with a chance for win number 40 for the seniors on New Year's Day, more than likely in the Hall of Fame game. We'll be back with more from Death Valley. The Clemson Tigers beat South Carolina 24-15. Back with more after this.
ACC football has been brought to you by Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now. By the airline of ACC country, Delta. We love to fly, and it shows. By the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company. For insurance and financial services, better call JP. By MCI's Prime Time Plan. Real savings 24 hours a day. And by Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
Clemson has won it, their 9th victory on the year. The final is 24-15, a hard-fought victory. The defense finally gave up a touchdown at home, and standing by with part of that defensive team is Phil Van Horn.
Well, we told the story of Vance Hammond this afternoon, how his grandmother on his mother's side died yesterday. His father, who is normally here, a sideline escort for the coach, is not here today. The funeral at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Vance, there's a chance your parents could be watching now from Lancaster. If they are, what would you like to say to them since you haven't been able to talk to them all day?
Well, this is probably a good chance for a while. I just like to tell them I've been praying for them. I love them to death, the whole family. And, you know, it's a big loss for all of us, but I love them a lot, and I know we'll get stronger from it, and Mama's a lot better off. And, you know, like I said, I love all my family, and that's what it's all about, family, and that's why, you know, everything's just, you know, so good.
Closing out your career at Clemson, what does it mean to close it out so strongly with the win a year ago down there and right here?
Feels good. I tell you, you know, this is a big rival game, and you want to go out like, you know, we got the ACC's best senior class and everything. And, you know, you want to beat your rival. You want to beat your rival every year. And most of all, you want to beat your senior year because you can say, you know, well, I left and I beat my rival.
All right, Vance Hammond, thanks a lot.
Thank
Congratulations on the win today. Coach Hatfield, step on in here with us quickly. Well, you unveil the orange pants today, and you unveil yourself as a winner in your first meeting against rival South Carolina. Congratulations on the victory.
I don't think I had much to do with it. I think the players played extremely well, and I'm so happy for our seniors to get this 39th victory for all of them. They'll be remembered for a long time because that's going to be a special thing.
Describe the period in the game in the second half in which South Carolina cuts that 11-point lead down to 2, then your team pulls away, especially that kickoff in which they recover. Describe that period for us.
Well, it was not a very happy period right there, and I think a lot of character showed through when they had the momentum coming and they had a chance to get back in the game. Big play was a 2-point conversion. We knocked them down, and I told them the next biggest play of the game was coming on the kickoff return, that we had to handle the ball cleanly. We did handle the ball clean even though we got a clip. Had about an 85, 90-yard drive. which is a real credit to our offense and the execution. We had to have it. The defense has played well all year. I'm just tickled to death with them. And Chris Gardocki came through with a great punt we had to have in the fourth quarter. We've been a team that's fought hard. We've been a team that's played tough. Sometimes it hasn't been very pretty, but it's been a very effective. And our guys got a lot of character, and I think it showed up when it had to.
Ken, throughout the year, you put off summarizing at any stage your feelings on this first year as head coach here at Clemson. Well, the regular season is over. You got a time between now and the bowl game. Sum up some of your feelings about replacing Danny Ford, coming in here, winning over fans, and coming away with this kind of season.
I don't want to talk about any of that. All I want to talk about is I'm happy to be here, that there's great tradition, that Danny and all the coaches that have been here have done a tremendous job to help build this program to second to none in America. And that's what I want to try to continue on while we are here doing the same things. It's people that make the difference, and that's what Clemson's been noted for, great people.
Ken Hatfield, thanks for spending some time with us after the game. Congratulations on the victory against South Carolina. Let's go back upstairs to the booth to John and Jack.
All right, Phil, thank you very much, and we want to salute especially today our Schick most valuable players from this afternoon's ball game. Won by 9 points by Clemson, and those MVPs, a great game for Chester McLaughlin along that defensive line for Clemson, and Bobby Fuller, who hung tough and almost brought his team back here this afternoon. As part of the Schick Most Valuable Player Award Scholarship Program, Schick will donate $1,000 to the Atlantic Coast Conference to be distributed among the member institutions under a conference-approved plan. The Schick Slim Twin Disposable Razor. It reaches every place on every face. Final score again, they're going to celebrate. Party a little bit in Clemson, South Carolina, because they won the bragging rights 24-15. More after a word from your local ACC station. Final score is 24-15. Clemson defeats South Carolina. They win all of their games at home. They win all of their games on grass this year, and they finish with a 9-2 regular season record. And there's more work to be done if you're a member of the Tiger team, because you've got a New Year's Day game probably ahead, Jack. That's a plus for your team, recruiting-wise and also practice-wise. You get the extra practice. You get to start thinking a little bit about next year, plus getting ready for the bowl game.
Get ready for the bowl game, and next year get more of a chance to make the big plays like they made this afternoon, including our option play of the game. And what a play we had. We had a number we could choose from this afternoon. Our option play of the game is brought to you by Option Gray Coverage for Men, the advanced way to get rid of the gray. And with the score 24-15, South Carolina driving, Bobby Fuller went back to pass. He had his favorite target, Robert Brooks, open on a post pattern. He tried to find him. It looked for a moment for Gamecock fans like he had the touchdown, but Arlington Nunn timed his hit perfectly just as the ball arrived, broke up the pass, and that turned out to be the difference in the ball game, John. They score there and make it a 1 or 2 point game. Who knows what might have happened in those final 4 or 5 minutes.
You're exactly right, and we also have to go back to the preceding drive as far as Clemson's offense was concerned. The 31-yard run out of the backfield by Ronald Williams, and then Deshaun Cameron, who did not have a good day throwing the football, going to Harris for the big pickup that really helped set up the touchdown. An 86-yard drive that helped put this ball game away, and Clemson will be seen scattered among those that we at JP Sports have selected for our All-ACC team for 1990. And we're going to run down some of those players for you right now. In the backfield, Moore and Kirby of Virginia, Bell of Georgia Tech, Herman Moore, a wide receiver, and Barry Johnson, a wide receiver. Not much to argue with in that group.
No problem there. And a good offensive line, Kevin Donnelly of North Carolina, Daryl Jenkins of Georgia Tech, Trevor Riles of Virginia. The right side of this great Clemson line, Eric Harmon and Stacy Long, and John Henry Mills from Wake Forest, our selection at tight end.
And on the defensive line, Vance Hammond, Rob Bodine, and Joe Hall. Boy, there are 3 you'd hate to go against every Saturday.
Without question. And the linebackers might have been the toughest area for us to pick, because there are so many good ones. Marco Coleman and Calvin Tiggle of Georgia Tech, Dwight Hollier of North Carolina, and of course Levon Kirkland of this great Clemson defense.
That was one of the toughest areas, and we did this by vote, counted up the votes, and we came up with a secondary that's second to none. Dexter Davis, Joe Johnson, Ken Swilling, and Willie Clay. And there again, tough decisions to be made in that area.
Well, we had Georgia Tech and Clemson, 2 of the best defenses in the country, had great special teams. Jake McInerney gets our vote as the best place kicker in the conference, and Chris Gardocki showed it once again today with a 78-yard punt in today's game.
And here's a pretty good trio to close it out. The Rookie of the Year, Ronald Williams of Clemson. He did nothing to disappoint in that area today with his play, well over 100 yards. John Moore, what can you say? Tremendous offensive year despite the loss in the game today. And then Calvin Tiggle of Georgia Tech, certainly one of the reasons that Tech is going to win the conference.
And Tech 9-0-1. As you look at other scores from the conference, North Carolina with a victory in the Maryland upset of Virginia. Georgia Tech winning the conference, their first ACC title, 42-7. Texas is going on to the Cotton Bowl with a convincing victory over TCU. The Citadel loses to Furman, or they're losing to Furman in the other big battle here in South Carolina. The Paladins will win that ball game against the Citadel.
A special thank you to all of those who've helped us all throughout this 1990 season. We appreciate all of their efforts, and we certainly hope that you have enjoyed it as well, because we have, and we couldn't do it without the people who work so very hard behind the scenes each and every Saturday.
Without question, John, they make you and I sound and look a lot better than we probably deserve, and we certainly thank all the technical people and all the production folks, and most especially all the people who watch us week in and week out. A lot of fun doing ACC football.
Absolutely. Thanks to Phil Van Horn for working today, because Mike Hogwood is doing play-by-play at another one of our ACC games, and we appreciate his support. JP Sports personnel outfitted by Champion Products. And we invite you to contribute to your favorite ACC school by renting from Budget, the official car and truck rental company of the ACC. Call Budget for details. For Jack Corrigan, I'm John Sanders. It has been a fun season. The final is 24-15. Clemson has won the Battle of South Carolina. You have been watching JP Sports' exclusive coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference football.